I remember when I was a kid, everybody wanted to see King Kong. Everybody wanted to see Frankenstein. People love things that are bigger than life. And they didn't make that many until recently, when the producers discovered that these superheroes are just the most popular things ever with the public.
Sometimes ask the question, is there superhero fatigue? Take this year, we'll see The Amazing Spider-Man, the second one. That'll be followed by the third one in 2016 and a fourth one in 2018. Do you think at a certain point moviegoers get Spider-Man fatigue?
Look at something like James Bond. I don't know how long that's been going on, and it's still a big event when a new James Bond movie comes out. I think it'll be the same thing with these Marvel superheroes.
Let's compare Spider-Man, which is released by Sony, and X-Men, which is released by Fox in movie theaters, to the many films, Marvel films, that are being distributed by Disney now. The latest one being the new Captain America movie. Some of the numbers at the box office would suggest that the Marvel films under Disney are bringing in even more box office bucks than with some of the others. If that's the case, what does that tell you?
It's like anything else. If you have a plethora of characters, if you have 8 or 10 characters, some are going to be a little more popular than others. But the amazing thing about these movies, every one of them seems to do well. Some may be bigger blockbusters than others, but there seems to be, at the moment, an insatiable demand for these type of movies.
A lot of people are already pointing to the next Avengers, potentially as having, because of the global box office, the nature of where these films can go now, possibly being the biggest film of all time. Would that surprise you?
Not at all.
Warner Brothers obviously has the DC family of characters. Doesn't seem like they've generated as much at the box office in recent years. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I wish my friend Bob Kane were still with us. He's the fellow who created Batman. Bob always used to tease me about the fact that Batman was a big deal on television and in movies, and we at Marvel had done nothing. I wish he was here now so I could return that teasing. A character should be somebody that the reader or viewer really cares about, and maybe at Marvel we've put a little more effort into refining the characteristics and the nature of our heroes, maybe a little more effort than they have on the other side of the aisle.
You're not just making cameos in these many Marvel movies. You have been very busy at POW, and you're betting, for example, on the Chinese market. You have a Chinese superhero film, The Annihilator. What kind of expectations do you have for how that movie can do at the box office?
I'm hoping that The Annihilator, which POW is producing, will be a worldwide movie. It's not just for China. And we're trying to get heroes that represent other nations. We're working on a Latino superhero. We have one called Chakra, which is doing very well in India. And The Annihilator is going to be a very big movie. It's a typical, I think, Stan Lee type of superhero movie. There is such a demand for these bigger-than-life characters that we at POW feel that we're really doing the public a favor by giving them what they want.
There's a lot of new technology out there. Facebook, a company you know, bought another company called Oculus, which makes virtual reality technology, or that's their focus area. When you hear about the rise of things like virtual reality technology, what does that mean for the future of the comic book industry?
Well, the comic books as comic books may not remain as big as they had been, because pretty soon you'll be able to get, or now you can get those comic book stories on your computer screen and many other places. But if you come up with the right project, with the right superhero and the right atmosphere and the right power, and with a good story, it almost doesn't matter whether it's on the screen, on a big screen, a 3D screen, a computer screen, or in a comic book or in a novel. A good story is a good story, and people have always wanted good stories.
You're now 91 years old. You're as busy as ever. You're coming up with new characters. You're a tweeting machine. You're on Twitter. I think a lot of people would like to know, what does Stan Lee eat for breakfast?
I have had the same breakfast every morning for years. I have granola with milk, with half a banana with blueberries and a cup of coffee, preceded by a glass of orange juice.